safe. The sea state was bad. We were tired. We're 100 miles from our destination, but with this flow coming in, we should be racing with Autopilot.
That's what it looks like outside, and inside is much better. After our hellacious 250-mile passage, where we broke a variety of things, including our autopilot. After hand steering for over 12 hours in high winds and aggressive seas, we're waiting out a storm system here in Santa Rosalia, Mexico, working to fix the autopilot so we can continue our journey south.
We're in port. We slept like a rock last night, probably, I don't know, like 15 hours from when we got in. It's gonna sip it all. See, it is blowing 25 knots, 26 knots. I'm glad we opted to come in. I'm gonna start trying to dig into the autopilot because that's priority number one. I think the main problems is something with the motor, I'd say, or the voltages to the motor. So I'm gonna open up the back of the computer and see what kind of voltage drop I'm getting with the pilot running. It is running now, which is strange. Kind of piecing it together and talking to our friends who are electrical engineers, like Dave Kavu, it seemed that it could be power related. So the fact is it was running overnight and during the day when there was sun and there was power coming to the battery bank, and then it was nighttime and the bank was down about half from sailing all day, that's when it started acting up. So if there was a voltage drop or a power issue, like brushes in the motor, the full charge might be enough to make it run, and it's running consistently now. So it gives us a lead. I can show them the computer. So that's what I'm taking the readings off of, that's our drive engage, that's the supply.
Okay, the batteries I just checked are at 13.6.
Okay, the supply voltage?
Supply?
Yep, it's 13.29.
Okay.
That's to the computer.
So that's to the computer. I'm gonna go starboard 20. Okay, going now. 12.22.
And 12. So we were able to get engaged earlier today, but I just went down to the computer to look at one more thing, which was the voltage of the computer when it's engaged, and it wouldn't work. I did see the computer trying to pass 13.25 volts to the drive, so that's a good sign. That means the computer is doing its switch thing, it's doing what it's supposed to do. So I really am getting suspicious of the motor at this point, because it seems like the computer's working, doing its job. So I'm gonna knock up a mallet, thinking if the brushes are dirty, and the commutator can't get the brushes to work. If we tap it lightly, maybe that'll engage it, but we do have another motor on board, so I think it's time to see if we could sort this out.
That's weird.
It's gotta be something in that motor. Something intermittent like that would be brushes. This is our spare motor right here. I know it's our spare, it says RPU80, it's not a Simrad unit, this is just the generic motor that they use. I'm gonna go ahead and peel it off the pump. It looks a little rough because it's hiding underneath our bed and the hydraulics spilt all over itself through here. But I'm hoping this motor's still good. Okay, here's our spare motor. Hopefully she works. Quite a bit of carbon dust in there. This brush looks stuck a little too. Okay, back at this autopilot. My spare motor doesn't fit, so that was kind of, well, I learned something. I need to have another motor on board. So for now, what I'm gonna try to do is clean up the commutator, clean up the brushes, and hope that's a problem. I did notice the brush was stuck when I opened it up, so that's never a good sign. I talked to Simrad support. They weren't that helpful. But it sounds like the voltage drops wouldn't stop the motor, because the motor should be within tolerance. It's a 12-volt motor, we're seeing 12.4. So even if we had lead-acid batteries, we'd be seeing 12.2 if the bank goes down 50%. So I don't think it's a computer, I think it's electrical connection. So I have some 400 grit sandpaper. I'm gonna do a light scuff of the commutator. I have some electrical contact cleaner, and that's kind of my plan. I'm gonna get nice fresh metal connections and hope for the best. Otherwise, I guess I'll put the old drive on that we have, which is a different pump, and that's why the motor isn't mating. But I know we had issues with that. We swapped it out for a reason. We just kept it. It was working, but not well. I remember it was causing us trouble when we were sailing from Nova Scotia to New York City. So we replaced it in Annapolis again. So yeah, so I'm gonna go clean it up. I'll show you guys how we do this. So you can see here is the commutator. It's not crazily worn, but it'd be nice to get that to fresh, smooth metal. So that's what I'm gonna do. Looking better, right? See, the groove is where it's where the brushes are hitting. So next is cleaning out all the carbon in here. These are the brushes. Sure to have good contact. That's interesting. Right there? Yeah, I'm missing the cover on the brushes and it slides out. That's not good. Well, that would cause an intermittent fault. I wonder where that cover went off to. This one has a cover, this belt, this brush. This one doesn't, so if you push hard enough, you can actually pop the whole brush out of the assembly out. So, I gotta find a way to lock that in place. Because that, that could be part of our problem. So I'm trying to reassemble the motor now. It's very difficult because like 2 screws and there's magnets in the case, so this, the screws are just bouncing everywhere as I'm trying to thread it back into the pump. But I did find the fact that the brushes, one of the brush holders was missing. Not the brush holder, but the piece of plastic keeps the brush from slipping out, like how you would remove the brush. And I also found a wire that was chafed, the cover was chafed, so if the thing's vibrating and moving and that exposed metal hits the case, it's going to cause a short, and then the autopilot's not going to work. So a couple things. If I can get this back together, we can test it. I'm just struggling.
What a dirty, hard job though. It's like 4, when is it? It's almost 4, and we didn't film as much as we should have today, but Bill's been
at it all day.
Basically doing this since
8. I want to go sailing.
Yeah.
Not too much to ask for.
We kind of want to go sailing. We don't really want to steer.
Yeah. I don't want to steer, that's for sure. Okay, finally got that thing back together. Moment of truth. Oh jeez. That's not a good sound. I don't know. It doesn't sound right. It's supposed to be resoldered. What had happened is that I guess when I reassembled the motor, it got a little kinked, and I can see little scratches on the armature where where it normally doesn't run. So something came out of alignment, and we heard a weird sound. So the solder is back on. I'm actually glad the solder failed because that could be something that would break in the future, and we wouldn't know. So it's good to have that. And we just zip tied the spring shut so we could get that back together. Let it heat up. Someone's gonna get everything hot here. It's soldered. My concern's a little bit shorter, but hopefully there's enough play to get this to the commutator. But it seems pretty strong in there, so I guess I'll take it back outside and see.
Hi guys. Well, I worked on the autopilot all day, and I wasn't feeling well. I had some editing to do, and I was kind of playing assistant. But it seems to be working. We have weather today, and we're gonna try to make it to the spot we were trying to make it to because we really can't stay here indefinitely. So the autopilot is working as good as it can be without a proper sea trial. The passage is 18 hours, but we have a bailout point that is 5 hours south. So in a worst case scenario, if something goes wrong with the autopilot, we can definitely hand steer for 5 hours.
neutral, no gas when I'm ready. I'm gonna guide the boat off, and I'm gonna jump in and take over and make the turn.
So I start.
Yeah, I'm gonna get the lines inside, then put it in reverse. Don't put any gas first, the lever. I'm gonna guide the boat out of the slip.
We noticed a strong current the other day when we docked Calico Skies, and today, strong wind combined with the current will make maneuvering out of our slip more challenging.
Reverse. And a little bit that way. Gas. A little bit gas, yeah. Thank you. Try to go that way, of course. It's like our biggest sail on that. Thank you for the help. I got it here.
Our other GoPro batteries are dead right now, and we just have not even had the bandwidth to put new batteries in, so yeah, I know you guys only got to see that from one perspective, but this marina, the current is really strong.
Okay, I guess we're just gonna go up backwards.
And the wind is blowing us like into the dock, so.
Yeah.
Autopilot.
Oh, let's try it right here, I guess, right?
Yeah. As much as I actually did enjoy hand steering, I don't know how much I've ever talked about this on film, but I often edit while we're underway and take care of all different business stuff, you know, as long as the conditions are like decent. Even when they're not, honestly, I can usually work. So when we're just trying to make miles to get somewhere and it's not really a pleasure sail, we kind of need that time to do other things, and that's kind of primarily why we need the autopilot. Also for fatigue and stuff. I mean, I'm under the weather, Bill's a little bit under the weather, so this is the type of passage we need the autopilot for, so. Wow, this is...
Oh, it'll help when we get the sails up.
Yeah,
Okay,
I mean,
just hang on to the... Okay, let's go. Oh, all the fenders. Yeah, it'll be okay. Little sail and it'll be better.
yeah, I think it's just probably left over from the friggin' 33 knots it's been blowing.
Look up that real quick.
Yeah. I'll get it. Yeah, I'll get the knife.
Come on, man. Hold up. Give me the main.
Things got slightly hectic there, but we're fine. We just, one of the sail ties is knotted and we can't get it out, so I had to get a knife for Bill to get the sail tie off. We could have done this once we backed out, and we probably should have, but we were a little distracted because we were both thinking about the autopilot. And the waves are pretty big. Like, this is not something that's easy to get on film, but they're kind of confused. And that's because of that crazy current. I don't know if you can see that one right there. It's like 3 peaks. So the motion is super sloppy. Again, kind of expected this. And it really doesn't help that it's been blowing over 30 knots. I'm talking to the camera. It's been blowing over 30 knots for the last 2 days at least. Normally we would wait a little longer, but yeah, we have to, for a lot of reasons, we have to keep going. And the biggest reason of all is weather. So it's not just that we're sailing to a schedule, it's actually just that the weather is going to continue to get worse. So we have to keep making miles south. We can't stay in this arena forever. And because the weather is getting pretty rowdy, we're getting shorter and shorter windows where it's just calm. So, you know, we could wait a day or two and then it could just be bad again. So in other words, this might be the best realistically that we're going to get at this time, which is why we did not want to be in Penasco. We were out of Penasco now, but we did not want to be in the northern part of the Sea of Cortez in November. But with my surgery, yeah, just stuff happens. Life happens. But the autopilot's holding on, so that's good. Bit of a cluster this morning here.
Centerboard's going down.
Our wind angle is kind of,
Oh, it's reachy now.
yeah, reachy, and so the centerboard will kind of
76.
help us quickly. But these waves, like I was just saying to Bill, since we left port, they're actually less of like rollers and becoming more just like all smashed up and confused. So that just makes the motion really bad, honestly. But the whole trip isn't going to be like this. At some point, we're going to turn off and then starting to get nauseous. We'll be at a little bit of a better
Angle. Here's hoping. So we're getting ready to round Isla San Marco, which will mean we'll be going about a 40-degree course change more to starboard, which is going to make the wind come from behind 40 degrees more. We're currently at a wind angle of about 101, so we're going to go about 140, 150. So I'm going to go ahead and rig the pole on the port side, and I'll move the Genoa over there, and then we're going to unroll the code 0 when we complete the rounding of this island. The island is over there. It's got a little fluky. Speeds are down to high 4s now. Need more sail area, obviously. Hopefully we could ride this.
Conditions have settled substantially since our departure this morning, with the seas much less choppy and square, and some other good news. The autopilot has continued to hold on, allowing us to rest and take care of work. the day continues, the wind moves behind us, requiring a sail change to a pulled-out Genoa and code 0. The wind shift was forecasted, which adds to our growing feeling that things might just work out for us on this passage. At least so far, things are going exactly as we'd hoped.
Now to get the staysail back on. Takes a little bit to jive over.
Okay. Sorry. Keep pulling.
Nice work, team.
Yeah.
Pretty clean job.
Yeah, it was a great job. Now we're on our new heading.
I guess so. Okay, stand near the traveler. Put your little foot there. Okay. So the first bolt can go this way, so we'll sail over the boat. Here. There we go. Oh. Get it over.
Wait, this side's not over.
So stiff.
Yeah.
Maybe that should be over there, but I don't. That little loose, so reasonable. You got that back here? This side on the your side.
This one.
Yep.
Got it.
Yep, okay.
Wait, grab
Come
it.
morning, we finally arrived into what was our original destination when we left Penasco, a pretty anchorage in Loreto. It will take us a few minutes to get the mainsail packed away because we don't have our stack pack yet, but spirits are high because the Autopilot held on the entire passage, which means that it may get us all the way to Puerto Vallarta, where we can ship in more robust replacement parts.
We made it.
We made it.
And Autopilot hung on. What do you know?
I can't believe that worked. Really good job, honey.
Thank you. You too.
Yep. Did it.
Who? Put a beer on ice.